GCF, which stands for Greatest Common Factor, Factoring Introduction. Okay, so which expression is the result of factoring the expression below by taking out its greatest common factor? So let me snip this here. All right, so what we're looking at is these two terms and what is common to both those terms. I noticed right away both terms have an x, so we can pull out at least an x. So what you're going to do is you're going to set up a parenthesis. You can't see that. Oops. Change my pen. There we go. So parenthesis, and we can pull out at least one x. And looking at our coefficients, our numbers in front, 10 and 50, we want to find out the greatest common factor of those two numbers, meaning what numbers multiply into it. So for 10, we have 1 times 10, 2 times 5, 3 doesn't go into 10, 4 does not go into 10, and then 5 is there, so we've looped around. Then for 50, let's do the same thing. We have 1 times 50, be a lot more on this one. 2 times 25, actually not a lot, just a few more. 3 does not, 4 does not, 5 does. 5 times 10, 6 does not, 7 does not, 8 does not, 9 does not. Okay, so now looking at these two lists, so from here, and there should be a 10 up here, down, what's the greatest number in both of these lists? Well, I noticed we have a 10 here. You can't see that different color. We have a 10 here, and we have a 10 here. So that's our greatest common factor. So 10x goes outside. Then it's going to be this 10x times what equals your first term, 10x squared. What is missing? We need an extra x. Then 10x times what is 50x? We already have the x, but we need 10 times this 5 down here, so plus 5. So 10x times x plus 5. If you multiplied or distributed this 10x, you would get the exact same answer as this. That's the intent here. And in this case, our answer is going to be A. Okay, this is a very similar question, but looks different. Oops, I did something wrong. Let's try that again. Okay. So we have this number here. What they're asking for is the width. So for each of these boxes, we want to see 4 times what equals this term. Well, 4 times 1 is 4. And 4 times x squared is 4x squared. Then 4 times what is 20? That's going to be a 5. And 4 times a single x gives us 20x. And finally, 4 times what number is negative 16? That is minus 4. So our answer will be x squared plus 5x minus 4. X squared. And it was plus 5x. And finally, minus 4. Oops, did I not type in 4 right? What did I do? There we go. Okay. So okay, that's like the first one. So looking at these three terms, 4x squared, 16x, and negative 4, what can we factor out of all those numbers? There is not an x in all of them, so we cannot pull an x out this time. But we can factor out a 4. 4 is the greatest common number going into all of these. They are all even, so 2 is a common factor, but not the greatest common factor. So 4 goes on the outside, and what's left over? 4 times x squared is equal to 4x squared. And then 4 times 4x is equal to 16x. And finally, 4 times negative 1 gives us negative 4. So x squared plus 4x minus 1, which is going to be C. Right. So looking at this, 2 times what is 6x squared? Well, 2 times 3, and we're missing 2x squared, or we're missing an x squared, I mean. And 2 times what is 10? That is positive 5. So 3x squared plus 5 is our answer here. 3x squared. Ta-da! And there we go.